Hello guys, welcome back to episode 4 of this 2020 career mode. We're here for the sprint race in Baku. If you didn't check out the feature race, do go check it out. It was a very strong race for ourselves and very tense towards the end for sure. Definitely very nervous. But anyway, so obviously on the back of our first win in F2, we're going to be starting P8 here in Azerbaijan, Baku city circuit. We've got into the barrier walking around with the camera, so anyone who's there, mind your heads, it's gonna, boy with the camera's gonna be pretty dangerous. We've got Giuliano Alesi, I believe he's on pole position by the looks of it. And from what I can remember, Alesi's actually pretty quick. Correa in P10, not doing a very good job. Obviously, yes, they had a good chance, but it ended up going backwards. Pretty much off from the offset, but nonetheless we are ready to get underway, and unlike in Bahrain, we actually made sure that our strategy is actually going to work. We don't have to do 2 stops as we did before, but in the last episode I touched upon the formation lap. So here I get a tutorial and then I skip the formation lap. So what I realised pretty quickly is that if you take the formation lap, you actually start with heated up tyres. The start here is going to be horrific. We do get underway and it's going to be wheel spin central. Our tyres are all over the gaff. Already up to P10 before we even reach the first apex. P11 back to P10, and we're going to be squabbling with you can see a horrific exit. Giotto actually passes us. I believe we managed to hold on to that position. We're going to dive it down the inside of Correa and Giotto. Very rambunctious to say the least, to mount the curb and get past Correa, even if it was momentarily. Giotto is going to be in the slipstream of One Manuel Correa, so Correa's going to have to move a little bit to the inside just to block us a little bit. I think the best we can hope for is maybe Giotto. We might try and sneak it up the inside of Correa, give him plenty of room, a lot more spec than we gave Nubaharu last race, that's for sure. So Sergio Sette Camara is the car who is just ahead of us now. Calamirot seems to have made a few moves up a few places, as Joe is now currently in P6, but Sette Camara is definitely going to be our next target, and he isn't looking overly fast so far. I mean, throughout the season he hasn't looked great, but we might be able to see if, as the pack bunches up, we're going to see if we can sneak it down here. Very late on the brakes, almost didn't make the apex altogether, and probably would have blocked the track, which would not have been great for ourselves. We've got our P2 man from yesterday, the next driver up. He's got Joe just ahead of him, so they're going to be quite tight. I'm not sure what the gap is to Joe. It does look quite a bit bigger than obviously what we're at the moment, but we've got such a good run on Matsushita. Obviously we saw yesterday that he's got not a lot of downforce through those corners, so he's always going to be vulnerable as we pull alongside, trying to get some slipstream off Show at the same time. As he's going to probably come back at us a little bit into the braking zone of turn 1, but we're going to make an easy pass, relatively speaking, past Matsushita, and then now up into P7, one place up from where we started. So definitely not something we're going to have to look on is obviously the start, especially the formation laps, just to give us that bit of an edge. We had a great start in the feature race, so there's no reason we can't replicate that in every start we do, and hopefully even gain some positions. But Guan Yu Zhou is also looking very vulnerable. He seems to have quite a lot of downforce lacking on his car, to say the least. We're going to get past him even closer before the start-finish line than we did with Nobuharu. So Calamirot looks to be the car ahead. Tatiana Calderon P4. Alesi sets the fastest lap, and if you look on the mini-map, he has got a gap. Like, he has gapped everybody and he's just left. We do get the move done on Guan Yu Zhou. Always looking forward. Forgot we was even battling with Zhou, to be fair. But yeah, Alesi has got a monstrous gap so far, and even here you can see it. There seems to be a car going slowly. There's a bit of smoke, and that looks to be the BWT of Hubert. So Hubert is out of the race, unfortunately. He had a pretty decent result, obviously, in Bahrain. We've got Calderon and Ilot here. They're going to have a bit of a scrap. We're going to set the fast lap, maybe go around the outside of both of them. That would be really outrageous. We bang tyres with Calamirot, and we get the move done also, not just on the Sauber Junior driver, but on the Arden driver as well, of Tatiana Calderon. She's going to come back at us, so we're going to swoop to the inside pretty late. A bit aggressive, but obviously we're now up into P2 because Alesi actually pit on that lap. If you go back and watch, obviously our positions tick down, and whoever was ahead in, I believe, P3 would also pit. So those guys clearly put too much of their tyres on the race. So we're going to come across the line to start lap 6, and we don't quite improve yet. So we've got to close the gap down to Dorian Boccolacci. Very reminiscent of the sprint race in Bahrain. Me and him fighting for what would essentially be first place. We've gapped Tatiana Calderon quite a bit. 2.4 seconds is the gap, and we're going to come across the line to maybe set a new fastest lap. In fact, we don't. We're very consistent, but we can't. We're very consistent at not beating our fastest lap, which is quite depressing. But coming on to lap 9, you can see we're very close to Boccalacci at this point. But we, in fact, go deep onto the exit of turn 16. So Boccalacci is going to get away from us a little bit. Obviously, we will close up to him, obviously, with the DRS. But we're going to be without the realms of making an opportunity. But it's very interesting to see that the AI are also struggling with what I struggled in Bahrain, where to qualify higher up the grid and have a good result in the feature race, you use an extra bit of tyres here and there. In my case, it was for practice because the game didn't tell me it was using those tyres. But nonetheless, we close up massively to Boccalacci into turn 1. So we're looking pretty good. We couldn't get past him on lap 10 on the penultimate lap. So on to the final lap. We're going to see what we can to do to overtake. We maybe have a little sniff down the inside here, but we've got to be mindful of the back straight. So I think the best thing we can do, if we can stick with him, not make a move prior to turn 16, and just make sure we're within his slipstream, we get a toe down the back straight through 18 and 19, and hopefully pass him around the final corner. That is the idea. If we have an exit like we had a second ago, it's probably not going to be great. We do seem to close up on him quite a bit during the braking phase. Our gearbox, again, not looking too shabby. It's definitely looked a lot better. So is our front right. Our front right is not looking like it's enjoying life too much here. About just over half a second gap he's got to ourselves through this tight castle section. And we're slowly reeling him in. If we can just keep the traction on the limit, that's the best we can hope for. I mean, this corner is all going to be down to X, and make sure we get a good exit. Don't wheel spin the car too much, and we actually almost had pretty much the perfect exit on Dorian Boccalacci. So here for the final straight, this is where it all comes down to. We're in the slipstream and the toe of Boccalacci. We're going to have DRS come up anytime now. We're going to open our rear flap, and we're going to go, and it's going to be a drag race to the line to take the win in the sprint race. We pull ahead of him, and that's going to be the double here in Baku. We win the feature race and the sprint race. Not many drivers have done that. In fact, the last driver to do that was Antonio Giovinazzi back in 2016 for Prema. So what can we say? Before him, it was Davide Valsecchi. But the less said on that, the better. We managed to make it 2 out of 2 in Baku, and that's something David Croft would happily quote, given he likes his rhymes. But we're going to tap to the Pirelli logo because we honestly clearly don't know where the Prema logo is. But anyway, our team celebrating again. Harry Jack's doing a fantastic job for us once again, as he's been in our garage twice all weekend. We've got Nikita Mazepin, P9. He seems to be happy with that, given that's probably the best position he's going to get all season. Anyway, considering how bad Baku was for us, Baku was so much better. It was insane. We did an incredible job to actually, keep the pace and all that. Dorian Boccalacci with his little moustache, and then Callum Ilott with back-to-back podiums. So Callum's done a fantastic job to put himself in that position to get another podium. So well done to Callum Ilott. It's been tricky for sure. It's definitely not been an easy ride, especially after the first awful race. But happy to say that we should be doing pretty well in the championship now. We should be maybe level with Boccalacci. We'll have a quick cheeky look and see where we are. You can see Mick Schumacher at P8, so Mick gets on the board with some more points. Really love to see it. But Boccalacci is 1 point behind us, so that fastest lap in that race really did help us out massively. And there you go, you've got Mick Schumacher on 20 points. We're leading the constructors, which is what you like to see as we go into Spain. But that's been it for the video, guys. If you have enjoyed, please just slap a like on it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.